Welcome to ChangeLeaders Stories, the podcast where we deep dive into the journey of seasoned professionals, uncovering the insights, experience, and wisdom that have shaped their career. Hi, I'm Roshan Kumar, founder of Change Leaders. Join us at Change Leaders Stories, where the journey to success begins with a single conversation.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Change Leaders Stories podcast with yet another episode on L&D series. My name is Nimisha Chatterjee, and I'm your host for today's episode. Today, we have an accomplished leader who is doctor by profession, performance development manager by profession, and storyteller by passion. He's an MD in Ayurveda, comes with total 18 plus years of experience across hospitality, wellness, pharmaceuticals, and FMCG industries. He is currently working as performance development cum field force efficiency manager at Nestle for the West Zone. He is currently based out at Mumbai. He has started his career as an Ayurvedic doctor and moved into various trainings. He has also been as a training head with VLCC. He is also certified in facilitation skills and industrial design by Dale Carnegie. He's a certified NLP coach and he's currently doing certification in Six Sigma Black Belt. Wow, it's amazing, right? So please welcome Dr. Rishi Mahajan.
Thank you. Thank you, Nimisha. The pleasure is all mine.
Thank you. So, Rishi, we were like so curious, so many things under one umbrella. How did you do that? Could you just share a little brief background about yourself in terms of your professional growth? How did this journey begin with our listeners?
Well, to be honest, this journey has been, filled with different things. Yeah. So as you said, I started by education, I'm an Ayurvedic doctor. So, like in any Ayurvedic doctor, the dream was to pursue medicine as a healthcare provider. But destiny had different plans. So once I completed my post graduation in Ayurveda, I moved to Leela Hotel as an Ayurvedic doctor. They had a in-house spa in Goa, where I joined as an Ayurvedic doctor and slowly got promoted to the position of a spa manager. So worked there as a spa manager for some time, but then I realized that my need for contribution as compared to growth is higher. So then I started, training people in different spa therapies, and this is how the training part set in. So worked there for some time, then moved to Ahmedabad as a spa trainer with a camp-based spa and resort for some time, and eventually the corporate journey, to be honest, started with VLCC, where I moved because they were coming up with institutes where they were running these beauty courses and hair courses and makeup, and then they also wanted to start some spa courses, and this is how I joined as a spa faculty. Slowly and gradually grew in the organization over a period of 8 years and reached the position of a training head for the entire group. VLCC group. So where I was not even managing the India operations as far as the L&D operations are concerned, but even the global operations. But eventually I wanted to start something on my own, and I kind of took a sabbatical for some time. But eventually, as I said, destiny had some other plans, and that's how I joined Nestle, is my current organization. So Nestle, I joined as a training manager for West Zone, and now in the last 2 years back, I got promoted, and now I'm working as a field force efficiency manager for the West Zone, and based out of Mumbai. Personally, I'm married, and my wife is also working with a pharmaceutical organization. She's also a doctor by education, and then interestingly, my elder daughter also wanted to pursue the same, so she's doing her MBBS from North India, and I also have a younger daughter in school.
That's wonderful to hear, and I think the complete family into pharma, and so I think that's really great the way you're
Mhm.
inspiring. Great. So, Rishi, since you have been into a different field and you have led various teams. So, could you also share what is your leadership or management style?
So well, again, so there's no particular style to be honest. And when you don't have a particular style, it is called situational leadership. So as per the situation, you kind of tweak your leadership style. So like emergencies and firefighting will need an autocratic kind of leadership. Your vision for your business will need a strategic leadership. Your long-term goals will need a transformative leadership. And when there are uncertainties in the system, you will need a mix of democratic and strategic leadership. Well, when you have a team where you want people to develop, so you will need more of a coaching and mentoring kind of leadership. Uh, so I think time and change is of the essence, and you change as per the capability, motivation of your team, as well as the need of the hour. So you can't fix one kind of leadership. So it is like moving from one kind to another kind always.
True, true. I think yeah, it is all depends on the situation or the business need, right? Or sometimes it's more
Yes,
to do with the industry as well, I believe, right? Because I'm sure from
yes,
hospitality and when you are currently in FMCG, right? Or when we talk about pharmacy, it's all depends on the need or the people.
yes, correct.
Right. So, Rishi, could you also share, because since you have worked in various industries, right, and into the various profile, could you share what do you see as the emerging trends or the technological advancements, or I mean, how you have seen shaping up in your journey?
Yeah. So see, if you see learning and development, and I would say not only learning and development, but I think every industry has rapidly changed after COVID. So when we talk about specifically training or learning and development, so it's like from learning at the moment of need to integrating new technologies which support more experiential learning. L&D is now almost growing on a daily basis. So now we have like a generative AI which empowers the L&D teams to deliver efficient, personalized, and engaging learning experiences to enhance skill development and knowledge transfer within the workforce. Then we have the micro learning, now, which is an act of breaking the L&D course content into small bite-sized chunks. So we have Gen Z where the attention span is very less. So for them, micro learning comes across as the ideal platform. Where these bite-sized learning, the typical content doesn't last more than 5 minutes. So there are smaller learning sessions which offer the right amount of information, to achieve a specific training objective. Then we also have knowledge management strategies which are coming up, which where the companies what they do is they create process documentation, like a detailed step-by-step instruction manual to conduct an internal process. And then this process or this manual is organized into an easy to search internal knowledge database, such as an internal Wikipedia or intranet. I'm sorry. Then we have the AR and the VR technologies who have just recently jumped in. Now they have the ability to create, immersive, personalized, interactive, and simulated learning experiences, which allows the learners to engage in realistic situations. Yeah, specifically for manufacturing industry, where you have a specific task to perform, but you do not know how to do it. So through the help of AR and VR simulations, you can actually you can learn like a hands-on experience. And then you can explore complex concepts in a safe and a controlled environment. The AR and VR also provide that kind of a controlled environment and a safe environment, which may not be possible in the manufacturing industry when you are actually dealing with much different machines. And then finally, we are also coming up with and it's already there actually. If you see the gamified training. There are certain elements such as points, badges, which are put into the training course to create that kind of engagement. So which puts a new spin on workplace learning. So here the learners are more even willing to take on repetitive tasks despite the risk of failure, because it is so engaging and you want to do always well again and again and again. So now this kind of learning now it creates that sense of competition. Then it also increases knowledge retention. It accelerates the adoption of new software, improves the performance of individual employees. It creates engaging L&D experience. Amazing. I mean, I'm actually a big fan of gamified trainings.
So I think that's, yeah, we all relate to it because when we have something to achieve, it's always about with the rewards. I've got this badge, or
Yes,
I've seen in one of the organization where you say that, where are you on the leaderboard, right? Based on the training,
correct.
and it keeps on
Yes,
changing, right? So he said, like, I'm in this.
yes, yes,
So I think, yeah, that's something it's always motivates on to check, and I think it also, I think, fosters a healthy competition, right, within the
correct.
team or within the department. And end of the day, it's all about learning. So rather than the organization pushing it, I think it's like the learners, it's full strategy. Like you wanted to,
Yes,
as a learner, achieve that.
yes,
I think that's
yes.
and compared to
And
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, I just cut you in between. But I said just to to earn those points, people tend to do these exercises again and again to achieve a higher score. So
Yes.
no, so what happens is that when you're doing it again and again, there's a retention of knowledge as well.
True, true. I was saying that, compared to, I remember when I started my career initially, and, when we talk about any training program, there's always a notebook, pre-reads, and then in the classroom, you have to literally, attend those long day workshops, right? 2 days or one day, and that's where you actually
Yes,
do. And it as you said, the attention span is probably, the first half or something fine, but towards the end it becomes a lot. But now I know
yes,
I can refer, anytime, right? I can make notes. So it's great how we
correct.
overcome those days. That's great. So also,
And here
yeah,
and here the time is at your hand. Whenever you want to do it, you can do it. It is not like a classroom training where you have to sit from 9 to 5. It's not like that. So whenever you have time, whenever you have the energy, whenever you want to do it, you can just open your application and you start doing it. You start learning.
true, true. And I think that's where we also see organizations practicing the learning hours, right? So they encourage that during the weekdays, or, you block certain hours, right? Wherein you are involved in some kind of learning or knowledge sharing
Mhm.
time. I think that's really great to see where you have the opportunity to learn at your own pace and at your own convenience.
Correct.
Great. Great. So, also, since we spoke about you, I remember you saying about the leadership, your style of leading the team. You mentioned it is more of situational. That's what you believe. So, what would you give, advice or your suggestion for others if they wanted to lead the team effectively?
See, I think one habit which I really fancy and I'm still learning. And interestingly, actually, I cut you twice. And the learning and the habit is active listening. Mhm. And interestingly, when you were talking, I even cut you twice, and I was not. I was trying to reply rather than listen. But this is one habit which I really fancy, and I'm still learning, and I really want to learn is to actively listen and understand, and then to be understood. So leadership, if you see, is all about empathy. It is about understanding the needs, situation, preference, and behavior of your team members. And once you are able to understand what they're going through, what their situation is, what their demands are, what their needs are, then only you can actually connect them on that human level, and then you can empower them and inspire them to make a difference. So I think this habit of actively listening to your team members, and then understanding their need, and then acting accordingly, so that you can actually empower them, you can motivate them. And so once you understand the situation, then you can only kind of create an action plan for them, where where you can actually motivate them to do to reach a greater height.
Hmm.
So that is one strong habit which I really want to to instill in myself, and I really want people to have.
Thank you, Rishi. That was really great to hear about listening skill. I think most of the time uh, we take it for granted. I think all of us, we are in so much urge to respond, right? I
Correct.
think that's this is one skill, I think, which always comes. I mean, we can't never say that. Okay, we are done now. I'm a good listeners. I think it always is progress. Right. So,
Mhm.
also, Rishi, just wanted to know about, can you just share any of your challenges which you would have faced during your journey of, L&D journey? So, how did you overcome and what were those challenges?
So again, coming to the same point, it's a one common challenge which I think everybody faced was COVID. That's a big challenge, and where we were suddenly asked to work from home. Now, since our industry, Nestle, where I work, it works on the share of shoes in the marketplace. And so we had to build the capability in the least possible time where they could engage our customers virtually. So actually, if you ask me, I am in the Nestle's BU business unit where we engage doctors. It's more like a pharma models for baby food. So here we are supposed to engage doctors. So now suddenly, we were asked to engage the doctors virtually. Now, there were two big challenges. First of all, the organization brought us a virtual calling platform from where we were supposed to call the doctors. So the first challenge was to upskill the field force in this virtual calling platform. So that was one big challenge. And the other was the attitude and behavior to engage our customers in such an uncertain environment because they were themselves living in an environment which was so unpredictable for them. The doctors were living in a very, very dangerous and difficult environment which was unpredictable, uncertain for them. And then calling them and asking them to write our products. It was another bigger challenge. So you actually needed that kind of attitude and empathy to first listen to those doctors, listen to their needs, to the challenges which they were facing, and then talk about our solution and how we could help them. So that was a very, very big challenge. And because most of the if you see most of the sales organizations or people working in the sales tend to be aggressive when it comes to sales. Now to hold them back, where we were supposed to listen each and every nuance which the doctor was going through or the customers were going through, and then trying to amalgamate with them. Yes, we are with you, we understand your challenges, we are on the same page, and then slowly and gradually trickle down our products which can actually improve their clinical practice was a big, big challenge. So somehow it was done, and after the COVID ended, the doctors really appreciated our stand. In fact, in all three waves of COVID, the organization, it made sure that we, for the safety of our people, and because since the hospitals are places where the infections were the highest, so keeping the safety of people was another challenge which the organization had to take care of. So the doctors really appreciated, our all customers actually really appreciated when once we were back to the market, the way we handled the situation and we engaged our HCPs. HCP, when I said, means healthcare practitioners. The second perennial challenge. So this is one challenge. I can talk about another challenge, and that second perennial challenge is to make new recruits market ready as quickly as possible. So because we usually recruit people directly from colleges, and they're very, very. That's a very raw talent, and in a VUCA world, where you are already constantly fighting with attrition and bringing raw talent in the system, we need to ensure a system which ensures a catch up growth for them so that they're able to engage our customers like our senior people are doing. So last year, now what we did was we started a program which is called a 60 ml program. Now 60 ml stands for 60 minutes of learning, where we had multiple 60-minute sessions of learning with these new people, and then we motivated them towards doing different courses, self learning through mobile platforms, micro learning, and then they would come back and present the learnings for the benefit of everyone. So it was a micro learning which they were doing individually, and then they were coming together, and then they were presenting. So it was a collected learning. So what we observed, so by doing this, we could actually shorten the duration from around 1.5 years to around 8 to 9 months, where now an 8 to 9 month old individual was as good as a senior individual, like 5 year 6 year old in the system. So these two challenges were, were really very, very interesting, very engaging, and when you face such challenges, the enjoyment of facing these challenges and creating strategies and trying new things, it makes it more fun to work with.
True, true. I think that's amazing because when you said about the recruits, engaging themselves and then presenting it, I think that's something really great. And yes, I think COVID, everyone, all of us has faced, and getting adapted to the technology. And I also remember I was speaking to one of the sales professional from our one of the organization, previous organization, and I mean they are always in the market, right? And imagine when they are at home, because they're used to travel, they meeting in-person client interaction, customer interactions, and when they are forced to sit at home, that itself develops, an uncomfortable anxiety, and then you are still doing your
Yes.
job. It's a virtual platform,
Yes.
right? So,
Correct.
and I'm talking about being a technology company, which we were into. So we were already into the technology, but still on top of that, when the sales professional had to do it, and it was like, Nimisha, I can't tell you, yeah, it is so difficult. So
Yes. Yes.
I could really, relate to it. What when you had to deal with the doctors and then being supportive, and the challenge of pitching and making them understand, it's a very tough, challenging journey. Thank you for sharing, Rishi, with us. Also, just wanted to ask you on how what do you think, the companies, how can companies foster a culture of learning and development, and what effective strategies could they do to develop the I mean for the employee development?
Yeah. So see, I think besides the skilling and upskilling of employees for a perfect operational execution, I think an organization needs to make learning its top priority and link learning with career development. So once you link learning with career development, obviously, so what happens is that people also start to take learning very, very seriously. Uh, and then since people are being engaged continuously, and they know that my learning is directly linked to my career development, they also start to take it very, very seriously. At the same time, I think the organizations also need to invest a lot in different technologies which support employee learning. So technologies I've already spoken about, whether it is gamified learning, AR, VR, micro learning, uh, digital footprints. And then at the same time, what the organization also need to bring in their employee appraisal is to gather self-developmental action plans. So every individual, when he's doing an appraisal for himself, or his line manager is doing an appraisal for him, I think at that point of time, if we can actually create a self-developmental action plan and then support these individuals in their career growth through different strategies of learning, it can actually foster a great culture of learning and development in the organization.
Got it. I think, yeah, that's very important. True. Thank you. So, personally, just wanted to ask you, like, how do you stay updated with L&D or the best practices?
Sorry, come back again. What is the question?
Yeah. So, Rishi, I mean, you said you spoke about, how companies can foster, and you spoke about the gamified and AI, the future trends. How do you keep yourself updated with the best practices in the L&D industry?
Okay. So how do I keep myself updated on the different yeah,
Trends.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. So I think I would say thanks to LinkedIn and other social media and aggressive marketing from different vendors. So you are always bombarded with new info through these vendors. So actually, since you are connected on a social media, so people will find you, and then they will automatically come and tell you about different new things which are happening in the industry. And then of course there are a lot of L&D exhibitions, L&D seminars which I try to attend. And at the same time, I'm also a very big avid reader. So I like to read a lot of books since this role involves a lot of traveling. So I make sure that once I reach an airport, I first crash myself into a bookstore, find a good book, and actually I can read anything, but always it is the L&D which or the training methodologies or which fancy me, and then I usually pick up a book and then I would read, and I make sure by the time I come back from this specific travel, that book has to be complete. So so this is how I keep myself updated. Hmm.
That's really great and inspiring. Great. So, Rishi, before we end our talk show, because I believe there's lot and lot to learn from your experience, your insights. But we have the time constraint, and also, so just for the listeners who basically are in the 1 to 3 years of experience in L&D professionals. Okay, so I just wanted to know what is the one advice you would like to give to them.
Okay. So I think one thing which I have observed specifically about Gen Z is that since now we have the new recruits in the form of Gen Z only, so that they're motivated to give their best once they understand their role and purpose in the organization. So I think whenever we are fostering a learning and development program, it is very, very important to share the objective of that program, and then how it is going to help the learners in their overall work and career. So sometimes it becomes so mechanical. The entire process becomes so mechanical now that we forget what the objectives and how it is going to impact that specific gentleman or a lady. So how it is going to solve their purpose. So what purpose it is going to give them once they are over with that specific training. And since I said that at the same time this Gen Z is also has a smaller attention span, so make your training deliveries very, very interactive. Add storytelling, use examples from their routine lifestyle, create more experiential trainings. Uh, I think one more important thing which holds a lot of value, specifically for myself, is constantly taking feedback from the participants to understand what exactly do they need. And it also makes you a better L&D professional because that feedback also helps you to grow. In the to grow individually as well and make you a better L&D professional. So I'd say three important things. So first, make sure that the learners knows what is the objective of the learning and development intervention and how it is going to how it is going to impact its purpose. Second is make your learning interventions very, very interactive, experiential, storytelling, examples, and all those things. And then the third is constantly take feedback.
Right. I think that's very important. So if you remember OIF, so remember the objective, being interactive, and third, feedback. So just
Lovely.
so remember these acronym. I think that's wonderful, which Rishi has shared in terms of what we can learn it. So let's we come to an end of our episode. Thank you, Rishi, for sharing your insights on L&D, and I'm sure our listeners have gained insight from today's conversation. We shall post his LinkedIn details in the comments. So till then, stay tuned. We shall be back with yet another episode on L&D series. So here's Nimisha, your host, signing off. Thank you.
Thank you, Nimisha.
Thank you for joining us on ChangeLeaders Stories. We hope today's episode was inspirational. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe to the channel of ChangeLeaders Stories for the future episodes as well. You can also share with your friends and colleagues. We would love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, questions, and suggestions in the comment section below. Till next time, keep learning, keep bringing the change. This is Roshan Rawat signing off.